This is the video review for the RP-02 acoustic blaster as well as the RP-01C cassetticons. I will be reviewing these in 5 categories, those being the aesthetics of the alt mode, as you can see here, the transformation into robot mode, the articulation of robot mode, and the accessories of each figure. So to start off with the aesthetics here, let's get in a little bit closer on each of these little guys. Bat here. Very nice purple. The materials are great. Full of die cast. All of this gold up here is die cast that I think has been painted. All of this purple in the chest here that's a different color, like purple and the black on this side. Getting into the aesthetics here, getting him in close, we can see he's got these rings here to make him look a little bit more like a real cassette, like a real tape. But to an extent, you can only really make them look so much like a real tape, you know? Getting in here, we can see the same on our little T-Rex guy here. But he's, I'll be honest, he's a little bit harder sell as a tape, all things considered. But to be fair, none of them really look like tapes. But they do all look really nice. You know, very good detail. The paintwork is really well done. No chipping or anything throughout transformations and stuff. I've had these guys for a week and a half now. They're really nice in terms of overall quality. Bringing him in as well. You can see he's got the markings on his chest. Sorry if that light's glaring a little bit there. But he's a little bit hollow in the bottom, but you're not going to display him with the bottom forward, you know. Not unless somebody, I suppose, asks for it. The back cleans up pretty nicely, you know. He's got, in person, I'll say it cleans up honestly nicer than it does on camera, I would say. You've got some working stuff here. You can open that up with the button. You've got a little switch on this side. You can click up and down. You can spin this. And it's on a soft ratchet, it feels like. So yeah, that's the aesthetics of all of their alt modes. Bringing in some size comparisons here for some other Masterpiece G1 figures. We've also got the Fans Toys Diverge, which, you know, acoustic blaster is a tape deck. He's not going to scale correctly with the cars, but as it stands, it's a nice scale for what it is. You know, it'll mean a lot in robot mode. But as it stands now, it's just kind of neat to see him next to it. He does kind of tower over it, which is, of course, not really realistic, but doesn't necessarily need to be realistic. Taking him out of there, I've also got the Fans Toys tube there, that he, once again, is a fair bit larger than. I've also got some Carbots here we can scale him with. Fans Toys Jive and Outrider here. If we take tube out of there, we plop them down right next to him. You can see that he doesn't exactly tower over them quite so much. He's still quite large, but compared to some alt modes that are a little bit larger, a little bit longer, he still looks ridiculous, but, you know, he's certainly cool. Getting into transformation for these guys here is pretty simple. We're going to start with our cassettes. I'm going to flip these in. flip these up and pull these out here. Flip these around. And you're gonna bring one up. Now, mine's a little bit of a pain here to get the toes out. But if you've got one, what I usually do is I'll just grab a spudger. In this case, I've got this little flathead screwdriver. They're easy enough to flip out. If you got something for it. I will actually also use that here to flip out these boosters here. You shut that up and just fold this back one click. I will have to bring these down again to bring his head out, but I wanted to get this out of the way first because I think that the toes can be a bit of a pain in the butt, if I'm honest. If I can get in there on camera and you can see, they're pretty tight in there unless you get it situated just right so that you can get them out easy enough. Oh, come on. Unless you got butterfingers like me, in which case you push them back in. Get that one out too. There. Open that up. We can, we can close that back up. Move these out of the way here. Flip this around and down. Fold these up. And all we've got left is to fold out his wings. So we do that. Fold out each of them twice. We're gonna fold out this thing at the top here also. Spread them out a little bit more so they can hold them a little better. Do the same on the other side there. Flip that around, and there you go. There's your little bat. There he is. Getting in close here real quick. Not going to take too long here because we'll have a whole segment dedicated to just their aesthetics, but I do think that all things considered, they look pretty downright excellent. You know? So there's our little bat. And we've got our T-Rex here. I'm gonna fold out these legs first. Flip them around and fold out the feet. Do the same on the other side. Flip it around, fold out the feet. Fold out around the tail and make sure you fold out the tail. There you go. Then do the same with his arms. Fold them down and around. The same with the other arm. Down and around. Flip his head up. And there you go. You got a little T-Rex guy, and you can see the die cast inside of him. Moving on to our little Stegosaurus here. Well, first thing we're gonna do actually here is we're gonna flip out his legs here. We're gonna flip these around and fold his foot around. We're gonna do the same on this one, so you can pull his foot out first and grab that and use that to pull it up, flip it around, and then fold that leg around. I'm gonna do very nearly the same thing on this side, if I can get it to work with me this time. I'll admit these back legs are a little bit tightly in here. I tend to grab my spudger for these as well and just get in there, and if I can get one of them out, then I can get both of them out. Oh, come on. Oh, there's a problem. There we go. Get that one out. Get it flipped around, down, out, flipped around, fold it, flicked around, fold it out, down. Fold out the tail here, make sure it's flush. Same with the head, make sure the head is flush here. Oh. And then we're just gonna fold out using, there's a handle on either side. Fold out these spikes. We've got another little guy. There we go. Moving on to our next little guy here, we're gonna open him up and open up the bottom here. Grab our spudger once again. We're gonna grab his little claw here. If we can just get it. If you can get it somewhere you can grab it, then you don't necessarily need the spudger the whole time. But I tend to just use the spudger to get it out to about there. And I start to fold it out. And you'll wanna pull these around to the sides. If you look there, there's a little notch and they'll just sit. That little notch right up against the middle there. You can actually peg these in to this bit here. There's a little hole in there. You can see it. And if you can line them up just right, peg those right in. There you go. You can flip these wheels forward. There's your back half. You fold this out. Grab this, turn this around here some. We're going to try to make it so these two meet in the middle, because if we can do it just right and they peg together, and we've got our little guy. There you go. And then last but not least for our little cassette guys, we've of course got this one. Fold out the wings here. Fold these around. Almost forgot. Fold his guns around first, and then fold these around. Okay. And then fold these around. You're going to actually want to first pull his head out, which is pretty tightly in there. You're gonna want to pull it forward first. There. Yeah. There we go. You got this folded around here. Get it over that hump first to there. Oh, come on. Get it up here. Get that gun around. Get those situated. We can bring our wings out. Flip them around so that he's got those right. Bring our feet down. Flip them around so that those are right. There we've got a little bird. There you go, a little condor of a sort. All right, moving on to Acoustic Blaster himself. Here, we're going to start by untabbing the these two bits here. These will probably be pretty tight. Mine were really tight out of the box, but they've loosened up by themselves over time. We're gonna open these up and fold in these panels here. Fold these, pull that up, fold it around, and you can collapse that in. Pull that down. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull it up, pull it around, all the way. Collapse it in, pull that down. There you go. Okay. At this point, we're going to untab these legs here, and we've got this waist joint in the front. We're gonna untab the feet here from the sides. Those will tab in right on the bottom there. You're starting to see some sneak peeks here of the articulation, and it is a very well articulated figure, I'll tell you that now. You're gonna, on the back here, you're gonna collapse all of this together. So you'll take this, bring it to the other side, and it should peg in. Bring this down and it should peg in as well. Okay, and bring this down and around. Tab it in. Bring this forward. Oh, and this is something that we have happened pretty consistently. Give me a second. You're going to fold in this panel here. This is something we have happened pretty consistently where these pieces on his calves will get stuck. So they're a little bit too tight. But they just peg right back in. They are fine. We're going to flip this foot around too. Make sure it's tabbed in. Bring this around again. You can see this time, oh, see me get it untabbed there. Flip it around, flip this piece down, and tab it in like so. Bring this down, around, and there you go. So do this on this side too. Here I'll show you a little bit closer. So we're gonna make sure that you've got this all the way forward. If you don't, then that's not gonna be able to fold down because it has to clear that. Bring this up, and that will plug in under the knee. Go back up here, get our calf piece. There's that. Okay. Plug that in. So we're going to untab this waist piece here from the waist. Bring it around. Untab the arms here. Come on. And bend them around. Come on. Come on. And I'll just tab in. You'll open this, take the batteries out, lift this up, fold that like so, this like so. Then we're going to, in a very particular order here, untab this tab here. The tab's into the bottom of his crotch there. Untab this, lift this just slightly forward. Going to pull that whole thing down. Now we are going to take bottom legs, bottom part of the waist, and turn that all the way around, and then take the top part of the waist and turn that all the way around. Take these two die cast bits here, fold them down to lock the waist into place. Then you're going to fold these in on either side of your butt flap. Turn your butt flap around, flip that over, and that should tab back in. Mine's a little tight. Oh, it's a little bit tight there. Mine's a little bit tight. It's a little finagling, as you can see. Not too hard to do. Get that down, get the piece tabbed in there. We've got all that. Fold his hip skirts down. Fold his head out. Come on. And fold this back down and close it up there. Then we can open these up, flip his fists out, turn them so that they're situated right, and flip this port up here, up, grab his shoulder cannon here, flip out this, fold out this back part. That will just tab in right, oh, that'll just tab in right there, maybe. That will just tab in right there. You lift that up there to give you some posability. And after a little bit of work, there you go. You've got Acoustic Blaster. Having a little bit of trouble standing on the uneven ground, but is pretty sturdy usually. As you can see, he's doing pretty good. Getting Acoustic Blaster and his cassettes here into robot mode, we see that honestly he looks just about as good as he could. Like, I don't know if I could really imagine him looking better. Getting a close look at some of these cassettes here real quick. There's a lot of really nice little detailing done on these guys, and their paint's all really well done. Several of them have opening mouths. The inside is all painted. It's also quite sharp. Fair warning here. Anything that looks sharp, especially on that guy and that guy, is also Marvin's Claw. But the aesthetics for this mode on all of them is pretty much both what you would expect and, to be fair, what you'd want. Your bat here looking just about perfect. I've got their Condor, their Corax up on his shoulder. And man, he looks incredible. Take this guy off here real quick. Show him a little bit closer here. He is really, really something. They all are. I mean, they're a little bit hollow on this one, but he's got this brick of die-cast that goes all the way through him just to give him a little bit of extra weight. And considering he can hold up the weight, I have to appreciate it. Bringing Blaster himself in, Acoustic Blaster himself in a little bit closer here, we can look at some of that paint that's been done. That almost smoky, like gunmetal color that he's covered with, and he's fully painted. You know, it's like any other Robot Paradise or Fans Toys figure you might get. You really just we'll get into it a little bit more with when we get into the accessories, but he's got some extra pieces too to make him look like his original toy, and they just take those aesthetics, in my mind, up another level. Give him a little bit chunkier looking body, a little bit more foreboding, you know. No, in terms of aesthetics, I think they're pretty much perfect as a set. Alright, articulation on Acoustic Blaster himself is going to be pretty standard, so I'm going to start once again on the cassettes. Starting here with our little yellow bird friend. We've got rotation at the wing, goes part of the way. I assume it goes all the way in both directions, I just don't really want to stress it because he's only a little guy. The wing flaps down and not up, I don't think, at all. His head looks up and down, and his neck looks up and down as well. He's also got a little, if I can get it out here, little camera up there. That's kind of neat, you know. His legs move, and as you saw earlier, can peg into Acoustic Blaster's arm. He's got some little things that I suppose you might consider articulation, but I don't think I'll show them because I wouldn't really. All things considered, though, he's a neat little guy, you know? Just get him in the right pose. You can make him look kind of natural just sitting. There you go. Just sit him down like that. Relatively natural. Our little T-Rex guy here has got a swivel at the arm. It looks like that's pretty limited though by the hinge here and by some of the tension up there. He's got a hinge at his little arm here, hinge at the base of the neck and at the top of the neck. He's got an opening mouth with some more painted detail just like on that other one. Again, sharp. He's got rotation at the legs, back to there and forward to about there. He's got a forward and back hinge at this. That only really goes forward to about there, and same with the toe. He's got his tail, which can move actually quite a bit, depending on what kind of pose you wanted to have him in, so you could feasibly push these as far forward as they go, and balance him like that by using his tail. Although at the moment, I'm not gonna screw with it. Bat here can flap his wings up and down using a hinge there, and can use these double hinges here to kind of, I don't know, if you wanted to maybe situate him something like this so that he looks like he's like flapping in midair maybe, or walking towards you, you know. There's some neat little options, but not a whole lot of posability there. He's mostly just kind of a static piece. And Marvin. Oh, Stegosaurus first. Rotation at the legs. Again. Head turns, opening mouth, like I showed earlier. Tail can go left and right on its own little hinge. That's about it. Like I said earlier, his mouth opens and he's got plenty of painted detail in there. Nice little guys. And then finally Marvin, who has wheels mostly. He has wheels that roll sometimes. You'd hope they do consistently. And then he's got his little claw here, which if I can get open, his little claw here, which you can open up. You can, like you've been seeing me do here, you can move it all around to whatever kind of position you want. Articulation with Acoustic Blaster is about what you'd expect. I think with him, it's a little bit more about quality than quantity, you know? So you've got really nice ratchets on both arms. Go full 360. Ratchet it out all the way. Doesn't go above that, though. You've got a forward bend that goes more than 90 degrees, as well as individually articulated fingers that have 1, 2 knuckles apiece, and a thumb. You've, of course, got a hinge at the wrist, and it bends forward a little bit because I believe it's on a ball joint. Yep, wrist is on a ball joint. So you've got plenty of movement there to get it in natural looking positions. Head can do a full 360, and it isn't really messed with by having the cannon on. The cannon goes up and down and can turn any direction you want. Just looks pretty nice. It's also painted in there. As shown earlier, you can open this and you can fit a guy in there. I don't have any of them in cassette mode right now, but I'll show you in the final go over. You can lift his hip skirts up here and bring his legs up all the way on that nice ratchet, and they will stay like that for the most part. Bring it back to about there and out to there. Now the out is on friction, but all the rest of these are ratchets. And that friction is pretty tight. It holds nicely. He's got an ab crunch. It's not a huge one, but it's an ab crunch. It's there. And a little bit of an arcing back if you want it to be. If you undo the die-cast things in his waist, technically he's got a little bit of side to side, but I don't really think that counts. He's got nice articulated ankles, you know, forward and back, and plenty of side to side. You know, all in all, very nice. Nice knees, go really far back, and you can work. Foot goes down. All in all, very nicely articulated, but nothing super special. All things considered, just a very good all-around figure. All right, finally getting into accessories here. He's of course got his shoulder-mounted gun, and as well as that, he's got his classic, if I can get it here, maybe. He's got his classic gun, which he can hold in his hand really well. He does not have any issues holding it, which is really nice. He also comes with all of these pieces to make him look like his classic toy, which I'm a big fan of. He comes with this way back here. Which you can put on his chest to replicate him producing an Energon cube. He's also got, the little guys come with some extras, so you've got a couple of these crystals that your little robot can hold, and he holds them pretty good. Not the best grip I've ever seen, but not the worst either. You've got these little rocket boosters, which if we take our T-Rex here, plug in on either side. If I'm honest here, I do think that these little metallic pieces kind of complete the looks of a couple of these little cassette guys. We've got our Stegosaurus here, and we've got our gun. Just peg those in two sides like that too. Sorry about the glare. My lighting situation should get better by the next video. I'm just starting out, trying to get everything figured out, you know? But altogether, I think that it does kind of fill them out a little bit better, make them look a little more like I think they should, you know? But in terms of accessories, he comes with a lot, and so do his little guys. You've got plenty of options for how to make them look using them. So I think that realistically, for the most part, they did what they could, and it came out pretty good. All right, I'm not sure quite exactly where this will end up in the video, because I forgot to do it initially, but some quick size comparisons here for his robot mode. So here I've got, this is about the size of the official. This is the Lemon Tree Toys Masterpiece Shockwave. You can see he's a little bit taller at the tip of the head, but not quite as tall as the shoulders. I've got Masterpiece Megs. Who you can see there, he looks pretty good with. I've got a Chug Scale Sharkticon. I've got the Gnaw from a couple of years ago there, which he obviously towers over. And then for something a little bit different, I've got the DX9 Kukinski. there, which he is a fair bit taller than, as you can see, and he's, from what I've gathered, a little bit tall for a Stunticon, but I think that Sound Blaster is just about perfectly in scale. So there's that. Alright, final thoughts on the Robot Paradise Acoustic Blaster here. I've put his toy parts on him so that you can see what that looks like. Honestly, all in all, I would give him and Bat themselves probably a 9 out of 10. And the little cassette group closer to a 7 or an 8. The cassettes are cool, and I like how hefty they are. I like how they look and everything, but at the end of the day, they're all just kind of missing something, you know what I mean? Like, I forgot to mention it earlier, but this guy's got a little bit of outward movement on his legs, I think, to give him a little bit sturdier base. But what's the point of thinking that far ahead on him if you're not necessarily going to on the rest of them? Like, I've got this guy in this pose, and he looks pretty good, but that's kind of the only one you can do. They're really nice feeling figures, and I don't want to turn anybody away from them who likes these cassettes. Honestly, I think that if you like them, you should get them. I think that they're great. But for the price that they're at, if you're just getting them because you want some cassettes, I would stay away. There are other options for cassettes. I don't know how good they are. If I'm honest, I don't have them. But these guys are good. You know, if you've got the money and you really like them, get them. 100%. And the same very much goes for him. If you've got the money and you like him, you want him, get him. He's just about as good as he could be. I think with that, Robot Paradise Acoustic Blaster is one of my favorite figures that I've gotten in recent memory. And honestly, getting in a little bit closer on him here, he looks just, I mean, on camera he looks pretty good, but in person he can't be beat. With that, I will... Alright, that about does it for this review of the Robot Paradise Acoustic Blaster, Corax, Rexodon, Thagomizer, Marvin, and Bat. I'd give the whole set overall, if you're going to buy them all at once, about a 17 out of 20, or an 8 out of 10, all in all. If you like the characters, they're perfect. But if you're just getting them to, like, if you care a lot about them, they are incredible. But I suppose to an extent, if you're more just getting them because you've got some money and want to get a guy, I do think that they're still really good. I think that you should get Acoustic Blaster by himself, probably, if you've just got a little bit of extra spending money. But all things considered, I think that as a set, they're pretty great. Alright, you guys have a good night. Bye.